Okay, so this is the last of the techniques that I'm going to show you today. And this is the thing that you're going to do when you really want something to be really big and coming up. So I made this big kind of egg looking thing. That's not big enough. And I need to make it a little bit longer, hopefully. I'm looking at my project and I keep comparing it to where it's supposed to go, right? So it's like a little short. So I'm just gonna keep sculpting it until it's as long as it's supposed to be. I'm doing this on the table, by the way. So I have my little ghosty. Oh my gosh, how big did I want this ghost to be? I guess I wanted it to be really big. So here's my ghost that's flying around in my house. Does it fit finally? Maybe. Finally it fits. Yay. Okay. So here's my ghost. I can't put it on here like this though. This ghost is probably a 1/2 inch. Yeah. It's a 1/2 inch thick. That's too thick. It'll blow up. They don't really blow up. It just crumbles into 1,000 pieces. And that's a disaster, and it'll make you sad. It'll make me sad. So I'm going to take my little ghost, and the first thing I'm going to do is really smooth it out. Like half of this is just sitting and smoothing the clay. Sometimes it does, like, take the rib and really just smooth it. You know, one of the reasons why a lot of the stuff that I make doesn't look like I touched it is because I usually smooth it with tools. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Okay, so I'm not 100% like, yes, it's perfect yet. Never smooth. Notice how I'm not putting water on here to smooth anything off. All you're gonna do when you smooth it with water is make this like, oops, I just gave my ghost a scar. All you do when you smooth this stuff off with water is make it so that it's not actually gonna smooth out for you. So now I'm like, I like my little ghosty. I think he looks pretty good. So I guess I just decided he was he. So there's my little ghost. He's relatively smooth. And I'm now going to finally use the loop tool. This is exciting. So I want my ghost to look round. So I did not roll it out of a piece of clay and then cut a ghost shape out. I made an actual round object that is very thick and very round. See, this is like a half circle. If I wanted 2 ghosts that were this big, I would probably have made a whole circle, a whole big egg thing, and then cut it in half, and then had 2 ghosts. But I didn't want 2 ghosts that were the same size, so this is how I did it. So now I'm going to hold it in the palm of my hand, and I have to scoop this out. Like the whole thing, I have to scoop out. So I'm going to make it kind of like a bowl, except I don't really want to have the bottom be the bottom. Like, I don't want to have the bottom be closed because it's a ghost. But if you were going to make like the earth or an eye or something, you don't have, like, you can leave this part. So I'm going to hold it, bink, there we go. Hold it, bink. This looks pretty bad right now. Everything starts off looking pretty sloppy and bad. You know, that's the difference, right? If you take a little bit of time to not make it look bad, it's not gonna look bad. So now I have all these little clay scraps from the inside of my ghost. I'm gonna feel it. Remember, we don't ever want anything to be more than this thick. So I'm gonna feel, make sure I didn't miss anything. And then really my ghost is, like, the more I play with it right now, the more it's just going to be, like, mad at me. So I'm going to put it on my project, and I'm going, let's see. So now I'm going to leave my ghost alone. I'm just going to be like, okay, ghost, you're my friend. This ghost I did a little bit earlier. The reason why I'm leaving my ghost alone is because I have a lot of like stuff to do to my ghost, right? I have to add on my little ghost's like bottom and do all of that stuff. And if I'm going to carve this really wet clay, it's just going to be really hard. And so I just don't want to do it. So I'm going to carve out the bottom. The way that I already put little dents in here. So I used one of my tools, again, that was round, to sort of round this off. But see, it doesn't look like fabric that's flowing. So I want to round the other side and make it round, like, so that it's a little flowy. So I'm just rounding this off so that it looks like a little ghost. The other thing that I have to do to my ghost is I have to give him eyeballs. Like, that's really important. So, like, he has to have little spooky eyes. So I'm going to take my stick. I'm going to draw little eyes in first. Before I do anything like cut, I'm going to draw the little ghost eyes in. So I know what I want. There's my little ghost eyes. And then I'm not actually going to cut the hole with the cutting tool. I'm just going to drill it in with this. There's one little eyeball. Smooth it off. Going with this. Oh my goodness. Smooth it off. This is what the hook thing is for. It's to get the little boogers off. Oh, he's really cute. And then he's going to go to his little home. There's my ghost in his little home. He looks adorable, right? So we want to slip and score him on. So I'm going to score him like crazy. Like a lot. Like he's really going to get scored a lot. And then you know what I'm going to do? I don't know where to score on my piece, and it's got all the texture on it, right? So I'm going to dip it in the slip, and I'm going to put it in the, like on my project. And then I'm going to pop it up, and whoops, now I know where to score. And it's really easy. I'm going to score this again. I'm going to put a little bit more slip on here, and then look at the back of that. And he's so cute and neat on the front. And then I'm going to put him here, wiggle him on, and again, like all of the slip yuck, it's got to come off or my project's going to look sad. I'm going to press him in pretty good. I'm actually even going to get the stuff out of the inside because, you know, that's who I am. Like, everything's got to be neat and clean. Because, you know what? Nobody wants to buy it when it's not neat and clean. So, I'm going to do the same thing with my tree, believe it or not. I'm not just going to leave my tree and be like, oh no, like, this is too thick. I can't put this on. So I'm going to take my loop tool. I'm going to show you how I made these branches in a minute. And I'm going to cut the inside out until it's like at a normal level. We have different size loop tools, so if this loop tool is too big for you and you're like, Miss S, it's too big, it's okay. Like, there are smaller loop tools. There are tiny, tiny little loop tools. They're so minuscule and little. Like, look at this. It's this big, right? So if you compare it, you can just go in like this and drag it, and it's going to cut out the inside. And nobody's ever going to see this. This is the best part. Like, nobody sees this part. It's facing your project, right? So the way that I made these is I rolled out a long piece of clay like this. And then when I wanted to get to the top of the branch, I just rolled out the top of the branch. And you know what? This is a tree, so I'm not worried about this. This is supposed to be a twisted, gnarly, craggy, like angry tree. And so I'm not worried about having these things look really smooth, because you're going to see in a minute, they're not going to. It's not going to look smooth. So I'm going to take my loop tool. I'm going to get the inside of this out so that it's not too thick and doesn't blow up on me, because I don't want to really lose my project. I like this. I don't want it to die. I don't want it to die in the kiln. So I'm going to do this. I don't remember how I did this. Okay. It's like a puzzle. This goes on top of that. That goes like that. And look, I have a tree. I have a beautiful tree in front of the moon. And then I think I want this branch coming forward, like being all twisted and scary and coming forward. So like I'm literally just twisting this so that it looks like a scary tree that's coming forward like that. I think it's a creepy enough tree. Okay, so everything is carved out. I kind of know where I'm putting everything, more or less. And now I just have to slip and score it. I want to show you one other thing with my tree. That's the wrong scoring tool. I'm going to score the side of this too. I want this to pop out. I want this to look creepy. You know, I want all of that stuff that is supposed to look like it's Halloween-y, and that, again, I have to score this. I have to put one thing on. Like, I have to make sure I have a ton of slip on here. My project's kind of dry, so the only way that it's staying and not drying out is because I'm putting lots of slip on it. If I did not use a lot of slip, everything would just come apart. So I can always smooth this off. That's what all of these tools are for. All the tools are for smoothing this stuff out. So I'm going to stick this on here. Remember, there's a little hole in that. This is my next branch. So I'm going to, I have to slip and score these together too. I can't just not slip and score them together. So I'm going to score all of this. My creepy branches coming forward a little bit. I'm going to add more branches onto this. I'm just not going to add lots of them on while you guys are watching, because which way does this go? So notice, I'm like, I don't remember which way this goes. So I went and where I have to slip and score, I put the project into the slip so I would know. I'm not worrying about covering up stuff that I did, because like I think that looks better. So now I'm going to push it together, put everything together. Again, I'm going to make a little, this also is going to have a knot in it. This is the thing that's all the way in the front. That's the tree that the skeleton is sitting under. So I really want to have this look like it is a three-dimensional tree that is really popping forward in my thing. This is all the way in the front. It should be the thing that's coming out the most, but it's also the thing, my skeleton is going to be sitting on this, right? My skeleton is actually the thing that's in the front. So, but I want this to look like it's got some body to it. And I'm going to get it so that it looks like it's what it's supposed to look like. So now I'm going to add my little weird knotty thing on here, and again, I'm going to make a ball of clay. I'm going to take my tool and sort of push in to make it look like everything is supposed to look gnarly and broken, right? And it's supposed to look like it's going up, like this is a branch that somehow, like, you know, fell off. So I'm going to cut this at an angle and put it on at an angle so it looks like a flat branch that has, like, broken off. And then I'm going to score this, slip it, score it, put it on. There's that branch. I'm going to get my modeling tool to really smooth this out, and then you're going to see what I do next, and you're going to be like, whoa, she ruined her tree. But it's going to look like a tree. You're going to be like, it does look like a tree. Because it will. When I'm all done, it'll look like a tree. So here's my tree that's going forward. And then here's my branch. My next branch is going to go on. Oops, this was supposed to get tucked under that one. So maybe I have to cut it a little. Remember, if something is supposed to be under, you have to have it be under. So, also the other thing about branches is like you can't really mess these up. The more knotty, the more crazy they look, the better they're gonna look, and the more it's gonna look like a tree. So I'm gonna like cut this in here, put this here, got it. I'm gonna score everything. This is where these scoring tools really come in handy because you can take them and you can really score. Let's see, where does this go? I don't know. Where does this one go? This one for sure goes like this. So I'm going to score up this way. I'm going to score this. Dip this in the slip. Get this on here. So I'm going to push this down so it looks like it's behind the other one. I'm going to put this on here. Oops. Remember, this idea of like smushing part of the down and not having part of it smushed down is really important. Like you might not think, oh, Miss S, this is not important. It is really important. Oh, I like that. That looks really creepy. Like, look at this tree. It is a creepy, creepy tree, isn't it? Oh, I'm so happy. So, I'm going to score everywhere it's supposed to be stuck. I'm going to get my slip. I'm going to put my slip on. You're like, Miss Us, you're ruining your moon. I know that's what everybody is thinking, but wait until it's done. I'm going to have part of my branch coming up. So look, I can put something under here. So it's coming up out of the tree. And now I'm going to smooth everything. This guy is going to come up. Make sure my moon is smooth. Make sure my stars are smoothed. All the boogers have to go away. And I'm going to do one last thing to this tree. First, if I need to add clay to places, I'm going to add clay to places. Remember, when you add clay, you have to slip and score. But this in here needs clay. So I have to add some. So I'm just going to dip my little guy into slip. I'm going to put him here and I'm going to add him to my tree so that my tree looks creepy. That's my goal. Creepy tree. Okay? So this actually doesn't look terrible. I like it. I'll get my carving tool for a second. And I can't see the distinction between my window and my tree, so I'm going to make one. And I'm going to, well, it's really important. You have to make sure that no matter what, the two things that are not supposed to be together don't just sort of blend together, okay? That's really important. Okay, so I like the way this looks. Now I'm going to take my stick scoring tool and I'm going to start raking my tree. This is going to look like bark when I put brown glaze on it. So again, I'm adding another texture to this, right? I'm going to follow the lines of my tree. And again, this is a really easy texture. So I know a lot of people have trees. It's about going, does this look good? That's what I would say. 90% of the time, I would go like, does my tree look the way I want it to look? And then if the answer to that question is yes, then then you did your job. Yay! Look at my creepy tree. And it's all twisty, and it's gnarly, and its little things are going up in the air. And it looks like it's almost like a snake. And it has this great bark texture on it that really is going to look really pretty when I put the glaze on it. And I have my little ghosties. And there you go. That's how you make, and none of this is very thick. It's actually got a bunch of holes in it so that it's not thick at all. And here is my tile. Oops, I'm gonna pull this out so you can see the whole tile. All I'm doing is missing my skeleton. I have to put some more ghosts on. I'm gonna make some buttons for under the tree because remember I ditched my button design. But it's actually starting to look like something that's 3D. And if I take this off for a second and I lift my tile up, you can see how 3D it is when I put it to the side. Look at the tree and how much it sticks out, but look at the moon and see how the moon sticks out too, and the hill is sticking out from the other side. So you have all of this dimension in here. And remember, the back is still completely flat. Boink, nothing on the back at all. So I have my ghosties. This ghost still has, it has to sit for a little while. It has to stiffen up. But this ghostie is going to get taken care of tomorrow. The tree looks really good, and then my little stars in the sky. It's coming together. It looks like a project. So, have fun making yours.